sort of moved on in
There's,
that regard.
well, sort of rearranging the deck chairs, and no, it's not really. And there's a thing Stephen Colbert said. It's like they're not rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic; they're rearranging the deck chairs on the Hindenburg.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's oblivious. It's either obliviousness or it's a deliberate, they're just kind of trying not to look at what's going on and just hoping and praying that we'll all come to our senses, which is ridiculous because, I mean, there's some commentators. I mean, Loki, for instance, he was a yes voter and he was quite prominent during the referendum, but recently he's been, putting his aura into the debate. And it sort of mirrors a lot of what the right wing commentators say that, we're all succumbed to this nationalism, and it's nationalism which is messing with our brains and stopping us from being sensible and doing the sensible thing. I don't even know what nationalism is. Apart from I would be a nationalist purely because I think Scotland should be independent, but that's like as far as my understanding of that goes in terms of how it affects me.
Yeah, I mean, they try to ignore the kind of constitutional argument and make it all about patriotism, which for me it's never been, and for most other people involved, I don't think it's ever been as well. But by doing that, it makes them easier for them to sort of lampoon it, even if it doesn't seem to be having so much effect. And also, there's this, we've been hinting at it in this discussion, but this accusation of like it's a cult, which seems very bizarre. I mean, how do you feel when you see that one, which comes out quite often?
Yeah, well, going back to the North British News, I actually did Nicola Sturgeon as a cult. So I drew Sturgeon and her little cult members in the North British News, just purely because that's how everybody in the political commentariat presents them. So I thought I'd do that. But yeah, I mean, it's something very strange. There was nothing wrong when everybody just voted Labour, and that was the done thing. And you voted Labour because your parents voted Labour, and then your kids voted Labour because you voted Labour. I mean, there's nothing cultish or odd or strange about that. That's perfectly acceptable behaviour. But as soon as it's for something that you don't support, as soon as someone's going to a different party, that sort of behaviour suddenly becomes. I don't even think it could be described as that behaviour because SNP hasn't been a power for that long. But yeah, that support now seems to be getting dismissed, and they try to rationalise it as some sort of weird hive mind. It must be something in the water sort of stuff, and it's ridiculous. I mean, I talked to quite a few people who they vote SNP or they vote Green or whatever, and they're perfectly capable of seeing the good things that the SNP do and the bad that they do. Most people I speak to realise that the SNP is a vehicle. We
Yeah,
didn't get independence, so the SNP is still that vehicle to get it.
yeah, it's a vehicle to move us towards independence. I don't think all those members are totally in love with all of the SNP's policies. Again, it's always been that broad church thing with the SNP. There's a left wing of it and a right wing of it. And then the membership
Yeah.
defeated the leadership during their latest conference as well, saying, we need stronger laws about land reform. They forced them into trying to do something about it.
Yeah, I mean, what comes across the narrative? The narrative doesn't stack up to the realities, essentially, and I get really. I mean, there is that small but vocal minority of SNP voters, particularly online. Both votes SNP, and anytime you dare to criticize anything about SNP, they just fly off the handle. I know it's a lot of Green Party members have to deal with a lot of stick from that, but they're not representative of the whole. I mean, any group, I mean, you get it with bands, for God's sake. People fight over who's the best band in a subgenre. It's not exclusive to politics, and acting like it's exclusive to the SNP's politics and pro-indies, just nonsense.
Yeah, absolutely. And okay, so let's move on to some of the other things that have been going on. Because I've seen this story and I thought you were the perfect person to ask about it. Because I don't know what it's about.
Oh no.
Clean for the Queen. What's all this?
Well, I don't know the actual specifics of it, but it's some sort of campaign that we're all supposed to. I mean, I saw the picture of Boris Johnson the other day. There's something in Westminster where they were launching the campaign, and it's like tidy your villages and pick up your litter and make sure your houses are tidy, all for the Queen. And it seems as if we've to all make the country really nice because I think it's her birthday's coming up or something.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Is she planning on visiting everyone individually?
I don't know. I mean, if she's coming round to my house, then I'd probably make it extra messy or just for the laughs. But I don't know what it's for. I don't know what the. It's such a ridiculous. It's sort of like a parody. You imagine this is somebody parodying British life,
It,
but it's actually real. It's actually what these, I think these people think this is a great campaign. It's just ridiculous. Who's gonna clean for the Queen? Why would you clean for the Queen?
yeah, it's 21st century as well. Why is there a bloody Queen? But that's my opinion on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just she's got loads of people. She's got loads of money. She can pay somebody, hire a cleaner for God's sake.
Isn't there already that thing about people say that the Queen thinks that the world smells of fresh paint because wherever she goes, they've just painted it and done it. Isn't that the case already?
Yeah, I mean, it's very, very establishment, very British hierarchy, and oh, gotta get the serfs, gotta get them to tidy up. Can't be stepping in the mud now, can we?
Yeah,
You know,
and doff their
it's all
cap
that nonsense.
and doff their cap when they're
Yeah,
doing it.
yeah.
Yeah, ridiculous. And just because you mentioned it at the start, I thought this meeting with Galloway and Farage was very bizarre. Did you have any thoughts on it?
Well, considering Galloway's position during the independence referendum, I think somebody tweeted a picture of his quotes just there, and it's oh, we can't be doing this because we'll be foreigners and all that nonsense. And now he's separating from the EU. It just doesn't stack up. I think we're going to see a lot of that in this campaign. It's just a lot of hypocrisy. Basically, half of Scotland's just going to keep banging its head against the wall. The Farage and Galloway, that's a dream team right there.
Aren't they just a couple of publicity whores?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I don't exactly know what George Galloway does these days. He's lost his seat, did he not?
Yeah.
A while ago. So
That was one of the more enjoyable elections when he came up and tried to run for the Scottish Parliament, wasn't it, in Glasgow, and he got absolutely thrashed. Nobody voted for him at all. It was quite fun to watch.
yeah, it's just these. I just think it's the media's obsession with political personalities rather than political parties or indeed policies. So you get the likes of Farage, who in Scotland he's basically an irrelevance, and then you have Galloway as well, who is an irrelevance, but they're treated as if they are, they've came down from the mountain. At the same time, Gordon Brown opens his mouth. He was supposed to stay out of everything, but he's came back for another intervention again.
Oh dear.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what he said. I didn't pay attention.
Yeah, that's been my policy for some time now. But just to finish up on a more serious one, because what we have seen in the media, apart from the usual SNP bad hysteria stuff, there has been a quite concerted attack going on with various smears, most of which are ridiculous, like the guy who's cutting hair on a Saturday, what a bastard, or the woman who's saving people's lives at Christmas time, what a bastard. I mean, but there is quite a serious concerted smear going on, and they're person by person.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've got elements of the Scottish and British media must be carrying around, a special pack of playing cards with, all the SNP MPs on them, and you just, pick one at random and how are we gonna get this one? He cuts hair at the weekend. How can we spin that? I mean, the Daily Mail spin on the Philippa Whitford's surgery stuff was just, even for the Mail, that was just unreal. She, as you said, she's saving lives at Christmas time. She's given up her time to go and do something that anyone else would think is a good thing. And now it's like, oh, she's a horrible person with 2 jobs.
And okay, well, I'll leave you with this one. So, how offensive do you think that the Labour charm offensive is likely to be?
How offensive, and in what kind of terms?
Well, they're probably hoping to be charming, but most people just seem to find them offensive now. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the thing, Scottish Labour just don't seem to be able to learn anything. It's like they've reached peak learning and they can't go no further. They're trying to put one of those square boxes into the round hole, and they can't do it. And everybody's saying you can't do it, and they keep doing it.
I suppose it's rather ironic that the Blairites who are doing all this went with the slogan "Education, education, education" because they're not learning from what's been going on. But okay, and the last thing I'll ask you, Shaun, is just what's the next animation that's coming up? What have we got in store for this week?
Well, last week's was Jeremy Hunt. So we had Jeremy Hunt saving the NHS. He was dressed as Dexter. I don't know if anyone watches Dexter who's dressed as that. So that was fun. Next week, I think I'm going to have a political special, and we're going to have all 3 of the opposition parties, Kezia Dugdale, Willie Rennie and Ruth Davidson, and they're going to give their take on how they're going to stop separatism. So we're going to have a stopping separatism special.
I'm looking forward to the Willie Rennie part already, but okay.
Oh, I've got something very nice, very good in store for him. So
You could probably just quote him directly. It'd be difficult to be more ridiculous sometimes.
I think I had on the news ticker, I had Willie Rennie accidentally eats Lego brick, and that's just one of my favourite things.
Yeah.
He's just such a great character. I love him.
I'm sure it was the SNP's fault, though.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, and then
Sturgeon should definitely resign.
and then the last thing, of course, is that this is your first time on the show, so you get to choose the tune which we finish with, and if you could tell us what it is and why you chose it.
Okay, so we're going to go with Idlewild's Modern Way of Letting Go. I just love Idlewild. I think they're brilliant. And Modern Way of Letting Go is one of their rockier tunes, so
And
that's why I went with it.
And that's excellent because I've already got it, so we're fine.
Excellent.
Thanks for coming on, Shaun. That's been brilliant.
All right, cheers. Thanks a lot.